Alright guys, we got a little undercarriage project going on today. Alright, we got a 700J in the shop today. We're putting a full complete undercarriage on minus the pads. The guys have already got quite a bit done on it already. I've been helping in and out. We've got new rails. They already bolted new pads on them already. I actually pulled the whole complete track frames off. The reason we did that, a lot of broken bolts and rollers. These track guards got broke off and bolts broken. We find it's easier just to pull them off, flip them upside down, get those holes all cleaned out, tapped out, fix the broken bolts, and go from there. This dozer has the pivot shaft in the center. Like the 700 size machines on up have this, what they call it, equalizer bar in the center here. Goes up and down. I think Kevin's working on the other side. And this is a pivot shaft, and he's actually running oil. There's 2 bushings over there in that track. So there's a seal back here, and he's actually running Deere oil. There's a bushing in here that nobody ever greases, unfortunately. So you can see that one's pretty wore out. We had to oxy-lance the pins out. So there's 2 seals on there, and there's a bushing in the middle. Kevin's working on that over there right now. So we got to replace top rollers yet. You having a good time over here?
I am having a swell time.
So he's getting ready to pull that bushing and stuff out. We've got this track frame pretty much redone underneath. We got to put a couple guards on the back of it here. Got all new rollers, got the idler, front idler back in it. Put new grease seals and a grease adjuster. We did have to replace one rod in the grease adjuster. You guys see it's got a pretty nasty groove in it there. So all these dozers have this. This goes behind that yoke there. And there's a grease fitting in there, and it just fills this cavity up with grease and pushes this rod out. That's how you tighten your tracks out in there. So that piece sits inside here. We'll do the other side and I'll show you how that all works. But as you add grease to that, it pushes that roller wheel out. So this pin here actually attaches to where Kevin's working at there. We've got a new pin for it. There's supposed to be a grease hose that goes here. You're supposed to grease this pin via that grease hose. This is actually a newer updated pin from Paint Valley. And actually can grease it through here also. So we're going to put the grease hose back on there too. But a lot of people miss that point on these greasing that pivot equalizer bar. And another thing to look for too on these dozers, a lot of people overlook, is checking the pivot shaft oil right here. Most machines run oil. Some of the older ones run grease in them. I've seen when the seals go out, guys will fill that cavity up with grease to get by for a while. So, but I've got new guards for this one. The loggers are hard on stuff. They tore all the stuff off. I sold this tractor 3 or 4 years ago. A local logging company bought like 4 or 5 machines off of me. So it's back in here getting all serviced up. So are you having fun over here? No. Got a big old rusty mess.
When your snap ring breaks 4 times and it's still stuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's torch time, ain't it?
Yeah. I think it is.
I think we're going to fire the torch up.
Go.
Alright, so that's the bushing that's sitting in the center that Kevin's trying to get out. I've actually got a snap ring on each side of it. You can kind of see it there. They're all rusted and crusted in there. So I think what I'll do, I'll heat that snap ring up with the torch and make it all nice and cherry red, and Kevin will peel it out. There's one on this side too. And we'll get that hole all cleaned out, put a new bushing in there. There's actually 2 grease seals on each side to keep the grease in and the dirt out. So, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. There you go.
One more fire. Do some more dirty time. picking up on the heat on it.
I know, so I tried to chop it. Left of that goodness.
All right, got that out. We heated it up and peeled it up. I don't know if you guys could see that there. Now you want to do the other side or beat that, cut that out first?
Cut it out.
Cut it out, he says. So there's a collar in there, isn't there?
I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you want me to be the guy that cuts it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my depth skills are not there.
All right, I'm gonna try to cut a notch in there and relieve some pressure on that dude. Another trick we do is weld some beads in there and shrink it too. That's what professionals would do, wouldn't they?
No, they just cut it.
Oh, they just cut it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
We'll cut it.
Yeah.
Look at it. Beautiful. Didn't even nick anything. So we just got that.
You're good.
I know, right?
It's a good thing you did it.
It's not my first
We'd be
rodeo.
replacing that whole thing if I did it.
All right, we're gonna get that other snap ring in there and get all it cleaned out. And we'll get back. All right, got that all knocked out. We're gonna clean all that up. Like I said, this is where this grease hose actually went in here. You guys can kind of see it's kind of broke off in there. This grease hose goes out and has a grease fitting on the other side of it there. Comes out through this hole in the track frame and a little plate right there. So we're gonna drill this out, get this tapped back out to 1/8 inch pipe threads again, and make sure that hole's all clean, and then we'll start putting everything back together. All right, got that hole all cleaned up. Got that old broken fitting out of there with the easy out. With the new line in here. Are you gonna do the honors and grease it?
What's my locking lube?
With your locking lube that somebody sent?
now?
Sure. Make sure it works before we put the bushing in it.
Better this way. Now keep your leg right there.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
Well, there used to be something for it to hold on to. There we go.
Don't think we need the locking lube for this.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, you got her, bub.
Did I get it?
You got her.
It's pooping all over the place.
You got one of them.
Put your finger back up in there.
No, it's good. We got plenty of lube in there. It's still hot yet.
Hey, watch that.
Now, are you gonna be able to get it off?
I
You did it. All right, we're gonna get the bushing drove in there next. Got the new bushing here. Kevin's got a new snap ring. We're gonna go ahead and put it in this groove so to give us a place to stop to. We're gonna drive this spherical bushing around. I'm gonna try to line up this hole with that grease hole. You don't have to do it, but it helps out a little bit. Because when you pump that grease in, it's got a groove. It'll go all the way around there, but I like to line them up a little bit. Ooh, it's gonna be one of those, huh? You need to go lift some weights, bro?
No, I need to go get some new snap ring pliers.
Those are the new ones.
Keep your fingers in a nice, safe location because I'm slipping out as we speak. Nope, not gonna get it. Oh yeah, barely. That was getting sketchy.
It was getting sketchy. There she went. All right. Get this thing started in here. You got a super bushing driver?
Yep, 2.5-inch bushing driver.
Harbor Freight bushing driver. So whenever you put these spherical bushings on, you want to make sure that you're not pushing on this. If you push on this, it's actually going to swell that dude out. So you always want to be pushing on that outside of that. Looks like this side right here might need to go some more. There we go. Get over here. Alright, got the bushing, another snap ring in. Kevin's tapping in the grease seal.
Got my finger. Look at the Japanese stickers.
Very good. You want to lock and lube it, and we'll get some grease coming out in this here bushing and lube her up. I know you want to use your lock and lube again.
That's what I do, I really do. Lock.
It's not really necessary.
And lube.
Oh yeah, coming out both holes. Oh, that's warm too. That's good.
It's like a sauna.
Grease monkey. All right, we'll get that all lubricated up. It's like brand new there.
Mm-hmm.
Good work. All right, we got all that stuff in there. You guys seen on time lapse. This side went so much easier.
So much faster too.
That's what happens when we're not got the camera live. Give that a little grease job and see how we did.
Lock. And lube.
All right, let her rip. Oh yeah, both sides. You did it.
And release.
Boy, that's warm.
Huh.
It heats up quick, don't it?
Yeah.
All right. It's like brand new. Well, we're about ready to move on to the track frame. We'll go ahead and we're about ready to flip this one back over. It's upside down right now. And make sure everything's working all right on top. We got to put the new idler in. Got it sitting over there. I already rebuilt this yoke, put new seals in the track adjuster seals in here already, so it's all good and new. But yeah, we'll get that flipped over and start from there. All right, before we flip that over, we're gonna dig this hole out. It's where this grease line goes through. It was actually broke off, as you guys can see. It's all packed up in there full of dirt and stuff. Been that way for a good while. Got sand in it from Florida too, I think. All kinds of good stuff. So it's important to keep all that stuff clean as much as you can all the time. We're going to flip that over and we'll take this track cover off here to get to the track adjuster. He's going to pick that up and hopefully it will flop over. Just like that. Go ahead and pick it on up. That's good, now set her down. Going down. That'll work. Okay. Got that. We're gonna pull this cover off. It's all packed full of dirt in there. Get that all cleaned out so we can put that track adjuster yoke back in there. What a mess. I got you a bucket here to put this crap into. It's all packed full of stuff. Been in there a couple days. We're gonna go for the big scoop.
That's right. It's the only operator I get to do.
It's not safe to do anything else.
When it comes to dirt work, this is not safe.
So what I was trying to do back in there is clean this hole out for that rod to go back in. So underneath this other cover, there's actually a big old shock spring in here. So if you hit something that front idler, it's gonna act as a shock. There's also a relief valve right here. It's kind of buried. If it gets too much pressure, actually will bypass and pop that relief valve off too, so don't damage your track frame or your tractor. We're gonna get these bars cleaned up here where the idler goes on, and then we'll slide that yoke in there, then put the new idler on. All right, got the hole cleaned up, got those track guides for the idler cleaned up. Next thing we're gonna do is stick this big old heavy yoke up in this hole. I'll give you the heavy end.
Lift with your back, not with your legs.
I'm going down.
High-speed wobble.
High speed. Whoa, horsey. No, you about to. No, you probably get on there.
What? You don't?
Oh my God, that's loud. Let's back these up here. We'll put that back here. I'm gonna show you guys what.
Oh, nearly.
It's actually a set of wear guides in here. These have holes in them here. These bolts actually crank down. You guys can see that there. Those bolts crank down and line up in these holes, and you can actually tighten these down and adjust your clearance here on them. So we'll get the idler up in there, then we'll slide these bars in there, and then I'll set the clearance on that. We usually look for about a 1/16 inch of clearance on the track guides. You don't want to make them too tight or they won't slide. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Back you go. Alright, so I'm going to shim this idler up. These bars slide in here like this, like I was showing you. We're going to get it all shimmed up tight. We can tighten it up and tighten these jam nuts down. I'm going to get that all done, and then we'll bolt the yoke up. Alright, got that all shimmed up and everything. Kevin's getting ready to bolt the yoke up. Or I am. Somebody is. Who is?
Somebody's about to do something.
That the hole you like over there?
Oh.
Looks like it needs to go your way, don't it?
You betcha.
Now go up.
Boy.
And these are fine thread 5/8 bolts too, so you gotta make sure they're
Perfect.
lined up just perfect.
Perfect.
You got that one. A long one here for the top. Alright, we're going to get those tightened down, and then we'll run a tap in all these holes here, get those all cleaned out so the cover bolts go back on good. We've got to repair a couple. You guys can see that one's broke out there. It's supposed to look like that. So, and this one's broken too. I'm going to weld that back in there. I'll make a new piece for that. Fix that. We'll get these holes tapped out. Make sure our pivot shaft socket's clean. We gotta make sure this hole's clean for a pin that goes in there fine. Then we'll be ready to put the track frame on the tractor. Alright, we got that little piece drawn up that we needed on that track cover frame. I got the old one here. We got a piece of 1/8 inch metal drawn up there, or laid up there. We're gonna fire the torch off here and see what happens. Alright, that ought to work. Get that welded in there. Alright, got the new pieces welded on there and there, so we got that piece all good to go. Next thing we're going to do is actually run a tap in all these holes and clean the threads out on them. Kevin's putting a little crowel in there. This snap-on impact's kind of weak. What's the matter with it? I don't know who would use snap-on tools anyway, right?
That's right.
Missed a couple up here, bub. Up there.
From the top deck.
Top deck. Alright, we're going to keep cleaning all those up, and then we'll get some new bolts and put on our track covers. Alright, brand new. Got the big holes cleaned out, the little holes. We just used a regular bolt on the big ones. I got a tap that big, but a couple more holes over here, Kevin, with the little one we need to hit. That track adjuster is, or I guess grease fitting. Get those cleaned out. We'll get some new bolts and put the covers on.
See, you got me a bunch of booby traps.
Got
here.
you some new bolts with some anti-seize on them. We're gonna hate it today, but somebody's gonna love it later on. So this cover's bowed out. I got mine in quicker than Kevin because he's screwed. Did you get it?
I'll lift, bro.
Oh, you got her, didn't you?
Check.
Get her? So this cover here slides over top of this one as you tighten that track up. Keeps everything nice and clean and brand new like. One bolt here for the grease. Where's the grease cover? We'll stick it on there so we don't lose it.
I'm good at losing stuff.
Good at losing stuff. One up, the other one was all bent. Brand new. A couple bolts for there.
Yep.
Not necessary. We're getting real close to putting that dude on the tractor. I think we're gonna have to wait and put these sprocket cleaners on after the fact, aren't we? And I got one right here. Probably need to wait on those, don't we? I think that may hit. All right, we're getting there. All right, next thing we're gonna do, this is where this pivot shaft is, the track frame pivots on it. There's a seal that rides on here and actually just seals up. You guys can see that's all rusty and crusty. So I've got new ones from John Deere here, new seal rings. I don't know what they call them exactly, but we're gonna heat this one up and knock it off. We may have to heat this one up and stick it back on there, so we'll get the torch fired up. Just like that.
Got you a present.
That's simple. And we're gonna get this all cleaned up and put the new one on. Kevin's got some emery cloth on there and he's polishing up that surface. Fine job. All right, Kevin got that all cleaned up. I'm gonna put this on. This bevel goes in towards this shoulder here.
Bevel.
You gonna hold that a second? What I'm gonna do is put some heat on it, and hopefully it expands enough it will slide in there. Woo. You still got the stuff in there. Way over here where I can see. There we go. Hot on your finger? Just this one. What do you think? That'll be enough, won't it? She's there. Let's hold it. I'll take these off. Nothing like a little heat. All right, when that cools down, that should shrink on there, and she'll be there. Sitting on there nice and square, ain't it?
Yep.
It's about lunchtime, so we're gonna go eat lunch, let that dude cool down.
Favorite time of the day.
Favorite time of the day. I got to thinking one more thing we need to do before we slide this over there. We need to get this plug out that's in here. That's where you put the oil in for this pivot shaft. It'll be a lot easier to, probably going to heat that up with the torch, so I had to do the other one. Pivot shaft, I just like saying pivot shaft. And then we'll be ready to slide all that on there. Just that easy. All right, we'll be back after lunch. All right, I got that little plug heated up, got it loose there. We'll leave that there for now, let it cool down. Kevin got these holes cleaned up for a new pin. No, it's jammed.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You didn't touch it right. That's why.
I'm sorry.
You gotta give it the power wiggle.
Oh. Are you gonna do that when we put it together here in a little bit?
Power wiggle?
Power wiggle?
Dude, I'm swole, I admit.
He's swole.
That's just because I got done eating lunch. That's the only reason I'm swole.
All right, we're gonna make sure that housing's all clean. We got the seal surface clean on there. I think I'm ready to put that new seal in. We're ready to slam that dude home, ain't we?
Go back to your home.
Back to your home. Got some new John Deere seals here. Some kind of special rubber. It fits in there like so. And it's going to seal up on that new piece. I think it seals up in two places around here and on that new piece that we just put in there and let cool down. We'll get some grease and put on all that. Get her rigged up in the forklift. I think we're ready to put her on there. All right, got the shaft all lubed up. Got the seal on there lubed up. Kevin's got her rigged up on the forklift. We're ready to come on home. We gotta get that little grease hose in this hole here. Gotta be real careful and line this up. Why don't you go down a little bit, Kevin? You need to go to your right. Let me see how straight you are. You side shift to the right. Hold up. Let me side shift this way a little bit. Oh, come on in. Need to go up just a little bit. Okay, come on in. Side shift to your right. Need to turn it this way a little bit. There you go. Come on in.
Power wiggle. Power wiggle.
You need to come over here and power wiggle like that.
Power wiggle.
I think you started. Oh my God. Got that pin through there, got a grease hose out. We'll put that little door on there that holds that. Next thing we gotta do, we gotta put these 2 retainers on here that hold that shaft on, and make sure the seal looks good. So since that seal's rubber, he'll probably have to take the forklift and push in on it. You can see those are lacking a little bit to go in there yet. So since we've got that in there, we'll go ahead and tighten that bolt up first. I'll bring the forklift out, push on here. It should be able to compress that seal enough I can get these popped in there.
How about that?
Got it. Just gotta keep your fingers out of the way, boys and girls. Like that, didn't you?
Always like hitting things.
I'm sure there's a right way to do that, but
I think we nailed it.
nailed it. Got that on there. That's all it holds those on there, is just those 2 halves. So put sealant on that. That's sealed up. I'll let that dry up a little bit. Then we'll put 85 140 weight gear oil in there until it runs out this hole here. I'm gonna get this grease fitting cover back on there. I think the next thing we'll do is the top rollers and the sprockets. Could move it. All right, we got new sprockets. These are actually in segments. I don't know if I got guys or told you guys, but we're actually a dealer for ITR undercarriage, since all this stuff's ITR. So if you guys need something, definitely hit us up. We can get about anything. So these 700s, I guess you could call it a weak link, especially when the loggers are using them and pulling with a winch and a log arch, and it's putting a lot of pressure back here on the sprocket. So these sprocket segments, the bolts are actually loosening up. They had a 1-piece sprocket out for a while and we can't get those anymore. What happens, those bolts will loosen up in these sprockets and they'll start walking. A lot of that's due to all that load when they're pulling logs and stuff. Most of the guys just pushing or grading dirt usually don't have that much of a problem with these coming loose. So what we're going to do, we're Loctiting all the bolts. We're going to torque them all down. I'm actually going to come through here with a welder and weld all these joints up solid to try to make that all one piece, so I have less of a chance of them walking loose and coming apart. So Kevin's going to get all those bolted up. And
you want me to weld it?
You want to weld it? What's it going to look like if you weld it?
Ever seen Big League Chew?
Big League Chew. Get back here so they can see us better. You got us blinded by all the light.
It's your personality coming out.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I doubt that. He gets those all bolted on, I'll get the welder over here and we'll get them welded up. Think the impact's gonna hold them both?
Yep, it's a done deal. It's Milwaukee.
You need a big one?
Come my way.
All right, we're running into a little problem down there. Somebody broke a tap off. And that would have been me. We had one that had to, I even was doing it by hand. We had one that was boogered up. We should have run a tap. We've tapped everything else out. I don't know why we didn't tap those. So I'm gonna weld these joints up like I told you earlier. Kevin's actually gonna tap that wheel out, make sure everything's good and clean before we have another catastrophe. And I'm gonna weld these up and then we'll start it and turn it and get that one up top. Alright, got those couple, or 3 joints welded up there. Solid. I got that one welded up on the back side. When it gets over, I'll weld those up on the back side. We're going to start that dude up and turn that, get it up top, and try to fix that one broken. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's no good. Who breaks a tap off in there like that? I think somebody would know better than that. I'm sure it's not going to come out with a pair of vice grips, but we'll try that first. Huh?
Rattle.
How lucky do you think I am?
Today's your lucky day.
Yeah, I done got lucky the other day working on that D7. My luck's out. Oh, it's turning.
See, I told you.
Oh,
Today
yeah.
is your lucky day.
It is my lucky day.
You know why?
Why?
Because I'm here.
Is that right?
Yep.
You wasn't with me Sunday and I had a lucky day.
Oh, well, that's because it was Sunday.
Jackpot. Well, I guess it could be worse, huh? Beautiful. All right, Kevin's gonna tap out those holes. I'm not authorized to run a tap no more, apparently. Because all I do is break stuff. Then we'll get the other segment on there. I'm gonna weld it up, and we'll be ready for the top rollers. What we'll do on those, we'll stretch a string on it. I'll show you guys after bit on that. So. Got that last sprocket on, got all the sprocket cleaners on. All that stuff was missing when this tractor come in there. The loggers ripped them off, tore them off. They kept losing tracks. The main reason, the biggest problem, if you guys can see, these are the upper rollers here. You're supposed to have a double groove on. You can kind of see this one does. If you look, that rail was wearing here and it was wearing this way. So what that means is they had these rollers sitting too far in. They're actually adjustable. They got a split shaft right there. So whoever put those on actually had them in too far. You just don't put them on and slam them all the way in there. Usually what we do, what we're getting ready to do, we'll stretch a string from this front idler back to that sprocket, get everything lined up straight in line. So what we'll do, we'll probably bolt these stands back on here, get those old rollers out, then get the new ones in there. We'll get that string stretched on there, get everything lined up nice and true. But because those was not lined up, actually made the tracks wear out quicker. They were snaking all around. They kept having problems coming off. So I don't know when they put those on or when they did that. So anyway, that's something to definitely look for. Make sure you get all that stuff straight in line. Just because the old ones are slammed in there like that doesn't mean you need to do the same thing. So we'll get everything lined up nice and true. So we got that front idler all shimmed up, and everything's new and tight in here, so nothing's going to move. So what Kevin's doing right now, he's actually filling that cavity up with 85 140 gear oil. It'll probably take a while to run out through them bushings. He's going to fill it up, and it's going to take a while to run back through the bushings and equalize before it runs out this hole right here. So it's going to be a couple day process.
We could probably just sit here and wait, can't we?
Well, we could, but we wouldn't get nothing done.
Oh. Huh. That's weird.
Alright, we're going to get those roller stands bolted on next while you're waiting on your oil to run down. Oil? Somebody's going to say I've been saying oil wrong too. Alright, you ready? Alright, so these newer style rollers actually have a split here on the shaft. All you gotta do is take the 2 bolts out and a big chisel and spread them apart. The old style stuff was kind of a press-in deal. There you go. Just like that. We'll get those out, we'll get the new ones in and get our string out. Alright, so I measured the center of this, it's 3 1/4. The center of the 2 upper rollers is 3 1/4. Kevin's sprocket's only 3 inches wide, so he's going to set out about an 1/8 inch down there. And we'll get stuff lined up. This one needs to come out a little bit. Does that one need to go in or not? You want to check the other side? Pretty close? Close enough for who it's for?
That's right.
You guys can see we've got a gap there now. Those old ones were slid all the way in. That's a lot of reason why the tracks wore out prematurely. Like that big word?
I did. Spell it.
Spell it? I can't spell that. We're gonna get those new bolts in here, tightened down. And what else we like over here? Is that about it?
One of them things.
Top your.
Did you hear your finger?
Yeah, you just broke my finger.
It's that thing that goes all the way around.
One of those big tractor tread things that people call them.
Chop, chop, chop,
This
chop,
big
chop.
thing over there has got to go on next. So we're gonna double check your oil level there. Let that run down. We're gonna get these snugged up. What we'll probably do is do the other side over there. You guys seen us do this side, so we're not going to bore you with all that. We'll get that side done, and then we'll put both the tracks on. Are you ready to do this?
No.
I got everything. I like the shirt. Kevin's got his name
Kevin.
on his shirt today. It's even spelt the right way.
Kevin.
Got everything done on the other side. Got the sprocket all welded up on this side too. Kevin's got the top rollers lined up, I guess. Is that right, Kevin? I wasn't here for that. Got the new sprocket cleaners on. So we're ready to put these tracks on. We're going to get those drug out this beautiful cold morning. We got to flip them over first, don't we? They're the wrong side up. Who does that?
Somebody want to replace them.
We're going to get those flipped over. We'll get them drug underneath the machine here, and we'll get them hooked up. Usually we hook them up on the sprockets back here. We find that's easier. So, are you ready for a fun time?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Alright, these are sealed and lubricated tracks, so what that means is, you guys see this plug in here, they actually injected oil in there when they put these together. So there is, this pin goes all the way through this bushing, there's actually a set of seals in there, so there's actually oil inside there lubricating that. So you see lubricated chains, that's what that means, there's oil inside there that runs inside there. The way you can tell it, if these pins have a hole and a rubber plug in the end of them, that tells you that they're lubricated. So you actually can buy what they call dry chains yet. They'll just be solid on both ends. There's no lubrication in there. So Kevin's getting they put grease and stuff on these. We're gonna get all these surfaces clean, all up in here, get all the paint off of them. So when we get those two surfaces mated together, they won't come apart. Another way you can tell if you got dry chains or lubricated chains, the dry chains will not have this alligator style master link. They'll just be a press pin style. So they're a lot harder to take apart and put back together. If you have a special press or a big old sledgehammer to get them together, it's real fun. So we're gonna get these all cleaned up real good, and then we'll get it slid under the tractor. Alright, we got the chain slid under there. We got a chain on it. I'm going to pull backwards with the forklift and pull it up over the rollers and everything here. There you go. Alright, we got our 2 links up here. Kevin probably needs to let that down a little bit, don't you? This thing's stiff, ain't it?
Big mouth?
Yeah, you got one?
Got a bigger purse here.
Well, I got too much slack here, bub.
You got the bolt yet?
What do you think? Need to go sideways a little or not? Like it?
I love it.
Hopefully it stays. Kinda. That's the top bolts. Here,
Oh,
the
you're going to
long ones.
All right.
Alright, got those run in there. Just like to run into a little electric impact, make sure they're started right. They're fine thread, so you gotta be careful with them. You should see that joint tighten up. You tighten this one up, it should pull it up, Kevin. Now try it. Alright, it's on there. I always like to leave a couple pads off on the end. It gives us a little more room. You can do it with those pads on there, but since we were swapping them, we just left them off. So we're going to get those torqued up, and we'll go do the other side. We'll probably put those pads on after bid when they're up there. So. Alright, got both tracks on there. You guys see me greasing up that track adjuster. Like I say, it just puts grease in there and pushes that front idler forward. Pretty simple operation. We usually like to have about a 1.5 inch of sag in those tracks. You'll notice a little bit tight right now. It's because it's all new. Those links are stiff and everything. I'm going to run it a few minutes out in the driveway and see if it loosens up. I've got the track adjuster covers off there in case we got adjusted up yet. So I think we're about ready to back it outside. Kevin's getting the jack out from underneath of it. We'll be ready to roll. Alright guys, that's a wrap on this one. You've seen us do all the work to it. Actually, kind of the second part of it. Like I say, you guys changed the pads out. So we've put everything completely under other than pads. I think this machine's got like 6,500 hours on it, but it's all this stuff was missing, like I said earlier. When it come in, the loggers had tore it off. So got all new upper rollers, front idlers, bottom rollers. All the bolts are tapped out and fixed. You got the sprockets all on there and welded together. New front idlers, new track adjuster seals. Put new seals in the pivot shaft, new bushings there in that equalizer bar. But yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of time. People don't realize how much work this stuff takes. I want to kind of do a video on it, and it's hard to quote this labor out, especially when you're changing rollers and stuff, because you don't know what you're going to get into with broken bolts and stuff. Sometimes they can be easy just changing bolts and parts out, and sometimes you can have a whole day in messing, fixing broken bolts and that kind of stuff. So anyway, if you guys like this kind of stuff, definitely give me a thumbs up. It helps out, and we might show some more of the undercarriage work in the future. We are a dealer for ITR America, so anything with tracks we can get, and we can install locally if you need help with that too. So definitely give us a shout and we can coach you out. I'll put our email and website in the description below. I do keep some stuff in stock for the John Deere dozers, undercarriage parts, rollers, idlers, rails. If not, we can usually get it within a day or two. So guys, leave your comments below. We'll see you next time.